On today's video, I wanted to spend a couple minutes reacting to the Sports Illustrated story that was published the other day in which Mets outfielder Juan Soto talked about and provided more insight into why he chose Queens over the Bronx during his free agency this past winter. Among many things in the article, Soto also questioned how good he believes the Yankees will be over the course of his career, the rest of his career. Quote, how many times can we be good on this team? I know the Yankees are going to be good for the next 5, 6 years. We don't know after that. Now listen, it's been a very wild offseason for the New York Yankees. We've covered it plenty on this channel. The Yankees obviously lost Juan Soto in the beginning of the winter, but it did allow them to pivot, and they almost immediately pivoted to signing Max Fried, the left-handed pitcher, to a $218 million contract. Yes, that's right. It was the richest contract a left-handed pitcher has ever received in free agency. So in many respects, the Juan Soto decision allowed the Yankees to pivot and pivot fast. And of course, as the spring has wore on and we have absorbed all the injuries in the Yankee rotation, Garrett Cole, of course, needing Tommy John surgery, Luis Heel with the high-grade lat strain, and now Clark Schmidt, being slowed down by a couple of issues with his back and only having pitched 1 2/3 innings in spring training. He will also start the season on the injured list. It's been very important to have the presence of Max Fried in the rotation, and of course Marcus Stroman, who the Yankees have spent a lot of the winter maybe trying to trade. On the position player front, of course, losing Juan Soto is irreplaceable. They've tried to replace them by getting guys like Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, hopefully a full year of Jason Dominguez in left field if he can improve defensively. The up and down nature of Anthony Volpe, Jazz Chisholm moving to second now. There is a question mark at third base. Can Austin Wells take a step forward offensively over a full year? There's a lot of questions, and it's been a tumultuous offseason for the Yankees. And now there's this little dig that Juan Soto has just issued the Yankee way, questioning how many times can they be good over the next 5 to 6 years. I mean, it's going to poke the bear of Yankee fans. I understand that. A lot of them are still very sensitive to losing Juan Soto in such a highly publicized manner as they did in free agency. But to which I would say, guys, relax. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 to 6 years. He may believe more fully in the Mets' vision, and that's fine. But to predict and to pretend like you understand how all the Met Farm prospects are going to do over that period of time is just kind of ludicrous because none of us know. We can't predict the future. We don't know if Mark Vientos will prove to be a one-hit wonder. It's very possible that the 27 home runs he hit in 2024 is just a one-hit wonder. Maybe he will have that sophomore slump this year. We don't know. We don't know. We can't even predict this year, never mind the next 5 to 6 years. And here Juan Soto is telling Sports Illustrated that he isn't confident in the Yankee prospects and what the Yankee vision and direction will be over the next half decade. It's kind of silly. It's kind of rich. I don't think that was the biggest motivating factor during this free agency. I think, of course, they wanted the most amount of money. And then all the other stuff that we've talked about, the clothing allowance, the private charter for the away games, all that stuff. We've talked about that plenty, and I think that has to be a big part of it. I'm sure the farm system in that had somewhat of an influence, but it was very little, and I don't think Juan Soto and Scott Boras were literally sitting there and charting out, ooh, what do we think is going to happen with Luis Angel Acuna, or what's going to happen with Jet Williams, Ryan Clifford. I mean, really, people don't even know what they're going to do this year. So it's another dig at the Yankee fans. The Yankee fans have had a tumultuous offseason. It's the last thing they need. I think, honestly, the best thing is just they're going to start playing games that matter now. We could start talking about the games that matter and stop talking about all these other things that are just wasting a lot of people's time at this point. It's time to move on. Juan Soto is a New York Met. The New York Yankees are still favorites to win in the American League. They just need a lot of things to go right because of the injuries they have suffered here in spring training. So when there's more to react to on this, we will. And thank you so much for watching this video.